Land shark, ahoy! Hi, welcome to 10 Minute Monsters from Mostly Off Topic. I'm Paul, and today we're going to be covering the Bulette, also known as a land shark. Been around in D&D for a long while. In this sequence, what we do is we take the 5th edition monster manual and we just have a quick look at the creature, mostly the kind of flavour text and the fluff that is accompanying it, a little bit about some of its stats or abilities it has, but we're not talking about how to use this monster tactically. We're just riffing off to see what we could add to our campaign worlds if we just made these creatures a little bit more prominent perhaps than we would do so otherwise. Just to think what's good, what do we learn about the world, if they exist in it, and what could we change, what could we tweak, and then some campaign ideas around, or encounter ideas or one-shot ideas that you could build around this creature. So the Bulette, huge, well, large, technically large, but pretty damn large creature that is a land shark. It's got a big fin and it digs around under the surface, jumps up and grabs its prey. If the earth was water, it would be a great white. That's essentially the way in which it goes. They're probably more feared than some of the other underground predators that you'll get, and they tend to, like the ankeg which we covered before, they tend to kind of cluster around where there is food, easy food and habitation. So farmlands, pasture land, small settlements out there, and they have a particular affection for halflings. Whether that's they love a bit of halfling meat or the gentle pitter-patter of halfling feet on the ground drives them insane. It could be either. I prefer the latter. Action. Lots of destruction wherever they gather, and they are out and about. Nobody quite knows where they come from though, and it says right down here that some sages believe the Bulette is a result of mad wizards' experiments at crossbreeding snapping turtles and armadillos. Okay, with some demon ichor. Go for it, Mad Wizard. Don't let me stop you. It feels more like a kind of alchemical chucking together into an oozing vat all the fluids and kind of bits and pieces and brewing it up into a Bulette emerges, kind of like blah, and then chucking it off into the land, rather than scientific gene splicing as you would have today. But there you go. But if you hear of anybody stockpiling snapping turtles and armadillos, well, there's an adventure hook right there, isn't there? And we're going to come back to that as it happens. So I love the Bulette. I think they're really good. I like the fact that they call out the attacks against halflings. I think that's pretty good. And I love the idea of these vicious kind of mating rituals that they have. Can you just imagine kind of coming on to that Bulette versus Bulette, and the bloody act of clawing teeth ends in the male's death and then consumption? Ooh, okay. And then at least you've only got an angry female Bulette to fight, I guess, and you could stop another Bulette from coming into the world. That'd be a bit good. What could be better about this creature? Or could we add and build on what we have? Well, I think we could maybe place a little bit more emphasis on the lurking death aspect. So they're out there, but rather than it being a bit more obvious in terms of the uprooted trees and the landslide and the sinkholes, just have them kind of like a little bit deeper, and then they kind of spring out on the unwary. Like a bit of like the great white shark is a placid, and then you see the fin and boom, you're gone. And they can also jump. They can jump at least 15 feet as part of their movement. So I just love the idea of this Bulette kind of like eyeing their little halfling settlement and smashing itself against the sides of the walls to try and kind of break through. Why would they not just dig underneath? Well, perhaps the halflings put their buildings up on stilts or something like that to stop the ankegs getting in there, stop the bullets getting in there, and these bullets just smash against a rock to try to kind of get through. That would be quite an interesting, quite tense scene, I suspect. Now, what could we do? What could we kind of have in this campaign? And I've spoken a little bit about it just then. They're the Great White. What's the seminal Great White film? Jaws. So how about we have a prosperous, rich farming community, mostly halflings, and there's a Bulette of great size gathered outside, picking them off one by one. The poor half-elf militiaman, He wants to close the fields off. But the mayor's not having any of that. That's the villager's livelihood. I'm sorry, Mr. Militiaman. You and mad old halfling Bulette hunter off in the corner are going to have to go and take these expendables, the player characters, off, and you have to go and hunt that. And here's this rickety old cart that we've got, a Bulette hunting cart that'll let you get out there. Perhaps you do need a bigger one. Who knows? So you kind of got that. You can do the tension. You can do the politic. You can kind of do that kind of thing. It's just a quirky little way, perhaps, to break up either a hex crawl or a two going from one city to another. And you kind of come across this, and it gives you an opportunity to help out the common halfling folk. Or perhaps it's in its belly. The PCs have got to recover a family heirloom from a character that was eaten, and they know it's eaten by the Bulette, so you got to kind of track the Bulette down, kill it, extract it from its belly, or maybe just wait until it gets into a mating ritual, who knows. And then perhaps linking this back to what we said about the Ankegs, a very similar kind of creature in terms of what they do and what they're about. Perhaps there's trouble at the old Ankeg farm. We suggested that maybe the Ankegs would be farmed for their chitinous shell and acid. So maybe a Bulette gets into the Ankeg farm and wreaks havoc. Somebody's got to get in there and sort that out. You'd have a load of pissy Ankegs and a quite aggressive Bulette to deal with. And then perhaps here, because it says the Bullette's range, but nobody quite knows where they come from. Perhaps the Bullets are secretly led by some kind of mastermind, maybe a gargantuan Bulette of high intelligence, or maybe the mad old wizard is actually, got some way to control these creatures. That demon ichor that he did allows him to use some scrying pool or something like that with some more demon ichor to control them. So the attacks are more a part of a kind of more thought through plan to control or to disrupt the food into the cities. That's an interesting way. You could have a conspiracy board of all the Bulette attacks and what it might mean. And then, you have to follow the trail of armadillos and, snapping turtles. See who's buying all that stock up. That would be an interesting, if slightly wacky, way to bring a Bulette into your campaign. So that's a Bulette, the land shark. I think if I was to do that, I'd be working the Jaws theme. I think it's probably got a session or two to fill, going from A through B. I think it would be quite a nice, quirky little thing to be playing out. But there we have it. If you've enjoyed this video, and then please do like and subscribe. Most of our content is Dungeons & Dragons, Lord of the Ring, that kind of thing. And we do stream 2 games on Twitch, one every other Tuesday, one every other Friday. The Tuesday game is Dragon Heist, the latest hardback from Wizards of the Coast. And we also do a high level, so 11th level intrigue domain level game set in Circus Art in Tethia and the Forgotten Realms. If you've got any questions, then hit us up and give me a shout. If there's a particular creature that you want to see featured ahead of time, then drop me a note and I'll see what I can arrange. Cheers.